is going on with this Drake lawsuit?
Yeah, Mark, please break this down, because on the surface, it seems embarrassing.
Yeah, it's interesting. So it's technically not a lawsuit. Technically.
Oh, whoa.
Technically, it's not a
It's a
lawsuit.
petition.
Okay, that don't make it better.
And it's
Well,
not...
technically, that don't make it better.
Yeah.
Well, I think the headline is like, oh, Drake suing Kendrick Lamar, which is not really true.
No,
Headline is just suing UMG.
Yeah.
Right. But I think people commonly see it as like, oh, he's suing Kendrick, which is technically, there's like, I don't know what the exact terms, I can look it up, but basically like pre-judicial, they're looking for documents.
They're suing to get evidence. They're not suing, they're petitioning to get evidence so that they could build a lawsuit.
To build a lawsuit if the evidence is there.
Right.
Against UMG, and his attorneys are basically claiming that UMG was effectively boosting the streams on Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us record.
And how would they do that?
By basically giving it at a discount for the royalties.
Can you explain how that works?
So effectively, the way I understand it is that in order to run a stream, then whenever you do the stream from a platform, you have to pay the label.
So Spotify would have to pay UMG.
Yes.
And then UMG sets the stream at a price.
Correct.
And what you're saying, or Drake is alleging, is that UMG gave a discounted price to Spotify.
Correct.
That made them play it more because it was more advantageous to them. They're like, oh my God, I get 30% off. Let me just keep spinning this song.
Yeah. Correct. There's other allegations that people within Spotify that, quote, had a perceived loyalty to Drake were fired. And so this was like an apparent effort to conceal the scheme. And then they also claimed that by boosting certain streams by one artist because there's a zero-sum game, that it also devalued Drake's ability to organically get streams. So because Kendrick's stream is getting much more play because it's zero-sum, Drake is getting less play.
Now, this is quite interesting because there's another component to this. I don't know how true this is, but apparently Drake was in a contract negotiation with UMG at the time. He had just delivered, I think, on his last contract, which was like $400 million.
Yeah.
And now he's re-up and he's like, how do I get a $600 million contract?
Or whatever. Yeah.
And UMG, I think, was basically like, we don't want to give you even 400. We want to give you less.
Yeah.
So I think he's alleging that they boosted this Not Like Us song so that it could hurt Drake's stock so that they would have a better negotiation for his upcoming album.
A lot of sports franchises do that.
I was about to say 100%. So like, NFL players had a great year. He's about to re-sign and all of a sudden a video comes out of him like doing coke with a hooker.
Yeah.
And you could make the argument that the team holds on to that information and then when it's time for contracts, they drop it.
Yeah.
You've heard this. So.
Yeah.
So I think that is, now whether this is true or not, first of all, I mean, obviously suing in a situation like this, you lose all street cred. Yeah. Also, like, he's being called a pedophile in the song, but didn't he tell Kendrick to call him a pedophile in his earlier song?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He also...
So it's like...
Wait, what do you mean?
Like, he had a bar, like...
talk about the video of me kissing the 16-year-old.
Oh, like when he tried to Eminem himself where he like says all the things.
And then Kendrick was like, okay.
Yeah.
And for the record, also, Universal and Spotify said that it's untrue.
Well, the 30% discount thing...
That is true, though, right?
Yeah, the 30% discount thing is true, but apparently that's been done before, and I think it's been done for Drake. Essentially, this might not be it, but something like when you become the featured artist on a Spotify page, UMG might say, hey, if you do that, we'll discount the licensing fee or whatever. And then Spotify is incentivized to be like, okay, bet. And Drake was all over Spotify and Apple Music for, I think, Gemini
guaranteed,
or Scorpio, whatever it's called.
Guaranteed, whatever they're doing for this song, they've done with Drake. They've done with all their artists. It's marketing, right? And like, so he's alleging payola, he's alleging all these other things. There's an interesting argument here, which is like, Drake really feels like this song isn't actually a hit. Like, he's been talking about bots and he's been talking about all these things from the beginning. And I wonder if it comes from this place of Drake's never really heard the song out, because whenever he's out, nobody plays the song. So I wonder if, like, he's a dude who's out. He's at the club. He's doing different things. He's at social events. He's not hearing this song ever. And I wonder if in his mind, he's like, I don't think motherfuckers are playing it. Now, it's delusional.
Yeah. He's also heavy online. He's
so
all the posts,
plugged in.
Yeah, so.
But there's got to be some disconnect where he would even go bots. He would even...
I believe all of the allegations that he's claiming.
are true.
I
but
think
also
every
true
single
for
thing-
every artist.
Yes.
Right. So you just crying when it happened to you, not when it favors you.
But also the nature of it happening is slightly different. Like him just promoting a standard album is one thing, but this is a direct album that's not just also trying to float, but actively aggressing towards him, right? Like it's actively defaming his reputation.
But that is the nature of a rap battle. It's like if they boosted his tailor-made song, Meet the Grams or whatever it is, it would also defame.
And I'm fairly certain they boosted Family Matters, and they must have boosted Back to Back. Back to Back slapped. It was a crazy hit. But I'm positive, again, like you said, bots are just everywhere. Yeah. They're just working every song. Back to Back was the fucking song of the year, whatever year it came out.
I got a question. Is this their PR company, like a Drake PR company? Like I see this with Drake, I see this with The Weeknd, I see it with a bunch of artists. Every like few days, there's an onslaught of every Instagram page that's like about music has more or less the same post where it's just like, Drake is the #1 most listened to artist and whatever, and they all have a different variation of the same post, and it all comes out. And as I'm scrolling casually, I go, man, he's popping, this motherfucker, whatever. But I wonder if that is a PR agency, that it's their job to constantly push the narrative that this person is the #1 artist. So that is a coordinated effort.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, I feel so stupid to just put that together now. Here I am thinking, if we don't get a write-up about something, you know, or if we're not included in a list or something like that, we're like, I guess nobody just acknowledges us.
It's because we just didn't push it out there to tell them to say that.
Because we're not paying a PR agency to constantly push a narrative.
I put together there's certain people. All
that stuff, all the Instagram pages, even old print magazines. I think people know, like world, like sexiest man in America.
That's all
paid,
PR.
It's all paid.
Yeah. Oh my God! So, but it's effective because I wouldn't even call myself a casual. I'm like pretty into media, and I'm being. I don't want to say duped, but I'm believing the narrative. I'm like, oh my God, this must be the biggest thing in the world. Here we are busting our ass on our own Instagram, hoping people see it. When in reality, for way less money, you could just pay 20 other Instagram pages, and then you'll feel like it's unescapable.
Yeah, it feels decentralized because you're going through it and you're like, dude, all of these disparate things that have nothing to do with each other are all promoting the same narrative. And this is beyond music. I mean,
dude, there were comedians when we were coming up when we used to take. We used to really care about those like hottest comedians lists. There were some comedians that they were funny, sure, but early on they were on every fucking list, and you were like, "What the hell is?"
So they got their agents or their PR
agents,
company,
manager, the whoever. The manager probably boom, 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 boom.
But it's
and then you start to buy in. This is the hottest.
And a lot of those blog sites, the way they work, it's like you just send it to a couple of the top
and then
ones,
they copy each other, trickle down. Now, the word is it inescapable? Inescapable. The inescapability of it, I think, is the greatest like motivating factor, because when you see 10 things online, it feels like the biggest story. Right? Like honest, what happened with the Kendrick thing? It's like you're online and you see every single post is about it. They're like, oh, Kendrick takes shot at Schulz or whatever. And you're like, oh wow, this feels big. In the grand scheme of things, it's nothing. It's nobody gives a flying fuck. But the perception, wow. I know I must sound like an absolute retard right now, but if this works with,
I was too. I didn't know.
But like, if this works for like a random narrative around a rap song or a rapper or whatever, imagine what they're feeding to us politically. Imagine what they're feeding to us culturally.
Oh yeah, dude. We'll get to it with the Biden stuff, but you can hear the same line from different media outlets. Sorry about Joe Biden and defending it. This exact line, boom, 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 everywhere.
But what'd you say? Decentralization.
Yeah.
That is where it becomes so effective.
Yeah.
When it feels like everyone around you shares the opinion. If you don't have the opinion, you go, I must be wrong.
Yeah, you just automatically conform. Yeah. Bro, you wonder if Kendrick put that lyric in there because he knew you were going to talk about it?
Of course.
And then you were going to promote the album?
Of course.
Oh. He didn't count on us taking Thanksgiving off.
Crazy, spooky, scary, hilarious.
Special to film.